As we're running behind on time, if we can stick to the next presentation being 10 minutes, that would be great. It's about cyber attacks, phishing, malware, and an endless list of vulnerabilities which are becoming normal. As a professional, how is your 9-to-5 job, or is it 24/7 job? How do you defend yourself from increasing numbers of internal and external threats? And also, how do we promote homegrown solutions and products? Please welcome Mr. Majdi Armouti, founder of Digital Haze Consulting, Cyber Intelligence and Security Government of Jordan, to the stage, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank Intaj for allowing me this unique chance of addressing such an esteemed audience. I wish you a good conference. You enjoyed it so far and continue to do so. Today, I was listening to briefings and presentations. Listening in yesterday and today, the excitement about the metaverse and how people are expecting a better future for technology. I want to take it into different direction into the governance of cyberspace. Looking from the perspective of Middle Eastern and from a developing country that's actually consuming more than it's producing, the importance of inclusiveness becomes more and more important, more imperative to be actually influencing the governance structures that actually govern these technologies and this space. When we talk about governance, we usually think about policies and regulations and stands, and so I want to look more into inclusiveness, again, from the perspective of Middle Eastern, from developing countries that are actually lagging behind the developed countries in creating these platforms and these technologies, which are actually forming our life and reformatting our lives into different directions. I want to share with you just some facts to set the stage. The world is producing a humongous amount of data that's multiplying every year, expected to reach 200 zettabyte by 2025. The users, almost 2/3 of the global population, are online, and 60% of them are using social media. Now, 60% actually means the social media users are across the globe, different continents, from different political, social, and cultural systems. At the same time, using these social media, which is mainly created in the west side of the world, and being influenced by the laws and the cultures of the West. So this caused this imbalance, this disparity between the creator and the user. This was what I mean by inclusiveness, to be more productive, to be more efficient, so people can more enjoy. It needs to be balanced between the creator and the consumer. Also looking at different perspectives, cyber crimes, especially listening yesterday to Mr. Kaspersky's presentation, 400,000 malware every day his company alone captures. That's an alarming number. And it's shocking to know that the cyber crimes revenue now is exceeding the narcotics, the illegal drugs industry completely, reaching $10 trillion expected by 2025. That's also shocking, very shocking numbers. It tells us how important it is to have the right governance and the inclusiveness of the different cultural, societal systems that actually consuming this data. You know, governance is always a challenge. It's always we have conflicts that we deal with. especially with the internet. The internet, we want to keep it open, we want to keep it interoperable. At the same time, we want to mitigate harmful activities and prevent hackers from exploiting the benefits of the internet. Second conflict, we want to uphold the sacred right of freedom of expression. At the same time, we want to protect our societies, our social harmony, the social fabric of our societies not to be affected by these malicious activities. And the third one, we want our citizens to enjoy privacy, to enjoy their freedom of expression. At the same time, we don't want criminals and hackers to enjoy the same kinds of benefits and use it against our societies and against the law. So these challenges that we are navigating through when we talk about governance. So as experts, since the beginning of the internet, as the world moved into the digital transformation and the internet has penetrated every aspect of our lives, the challenges that we have to run through, is the cross-border interoperability. I come from a telecom background, so I remember in the 70s and 80s, we said the same thing when the ITU adopted the international telephone scheme. It's called SS7 to connect different switches in the world to telephony. It was also based on openness and trust, and this led to its being exploited by hackers and eavesdropping and manipulation, etc. The international community has not got a consensus on how to govern which models use the current existing laws or not. Militarization of the internet has been designated since the 90s as a domain of war, cyber warfare. It brings a unique challenge, the asymmetric, like a small code of software can disrupt a complete sector of critical infrastructure or energy or electricity and so. The attribution using the deep and the dark web for investigators to pinpoint who actually did the crime, because if you want to exercise your self-right of defense, you need to know who actually attacked you, and this is very difficult at the age of the internet. And the last one, which I just spoke earlier, the disparity between the creator and the consumer. Are you consuming a product that has been influenced and designed by different cultural and different system that is different from our culture? As the world moves along through the United Nations and multilateral, working groups and so try to put a structure for governance, there was always without getting into politics here, there were two opposing approaches always were dominating the arena. The first one wanted a complete state control of the internet, that governments control the internet, put all the standards that people and companies and all creators should abide by, while the others believe in the multi-stakeholder approach. Multi-stakeholder including government, plus the civil society, NGOs, think tanks, etc. One approach wanted complete new law for the internet that is bounded by, the government has to be bound by, while the other believed that the existing laws, that the international law the United Nations have is enough to govern the internet. And the third one was just the fear of the internet, fear of losing control of their own data. They wanted to control the data internally. They wanted to keep the internet sovereign. They want to have their own internet. And at the same time, the other camp wanted just to keep the open model, the free flowing of data. These two approaches continued to fight through the international working groups that were formed by United Nations and other international institutions. During the 90s, the 2000s, 2010, we started to see a more balanced, more consensus coming to the country started to come into. The feeling started that yes, the current laws are maybe enough for the internet, but everybody now is thinking, yes, maybe we need to consider some risks that we need to have some controls to. This especially came after, especially the camp that believes we need to have a free internet started after the sophisticated campaigns of espionage, industrial espionage, military espionage, the terror that spread over the internet. Maybe they believed an open internet, it's good, but maybe it needs some little bit of regulation to stop the bad people from exploiting the internet. So this brought this third approach that has brought more consensus between the two camps, giving the birth to a third one. I'd like just to mention quickly some the major incidents that actually caused and triggered this third approach. The Estonia cyber attack 2007, one of the first recorded incidents where a whole country financial systems was disrupted by hackers. The Arab Spring 2010 demonstrated, how powerful the internet can be in mobilizing the crowd, the public, destabilizing and even toppling regimes. 2013 and onwards, we saw the rise of the terror on the internet, how the internet terrorists, unfortunately, they exploited the beauty of the internet, the powerful tools comes with it to actually spread their violence, do the lobbying, campaigning, recruiting, disseminating money, using the deep dark web of the internet. And the last one was the horrendous act that happened in New Zealand 2019, when an incident, a terrible crime was broadcasted for almost more than 30 minutes, was streamed online. These all together has, pushed countries that maybe we need to have some controls over this open space. Again, looking from Middle Eastern, looking from a developing countries' perspective, areas of consideration for governance that's actually affecting us, and I want to bring inclusiveness. Why need to have inclusiveness into these areas as they touch our, our societal peaceful. It touches our stability. It touches the health care of our children, and so. The first one is the privacy versus security. This is the ultimate debate, and it's a very controversial topic that I'm not going to solve here in these few minutes I have. But what I can tell you, I'm a big fan of privacy, but I believe it's not an absolute right. The right to privacy for our citizens shouldn't be enjoyed by the criminals and hackers. Now, how do you achieve this? This is another thing that we can talk about, hopefully. I just want to give an example, like for right of privacy. The encryption, which is the base of the privacy on the internet, and protects citizens, and also it aids the criminals. So it's a tricky balance that we need to maintain. How do we actually keep this for our good citizens and prevent our bad citizens from using them? There's a lot of debate. There's a lot of now initiatives how to actually give the law enforcement more capabilities into tackling this balance. The next one is the cloud. We need to embrace the cloud. This is as a fundamental, principle. But as in being inclusive, again, I want to see more global cloud providers in our region building their data centers, placing their nodes. And this will only happen when governments, lead by creating this viable business cases for them to come consolidate small markets, consolidate the different needs into one that actually can attract the global cloud providers, bring them in the country. And we need also to help companies, to help citizens enjoy the cloud by minimizing data localization requirements, allow people to enjoy using the powerful, scaling of the cloud. At the same time, to keep the balance again, we need to have some transparency about our data, where it's residing, how it's being protected, and where it's sitting. The third one is the back to the social media. I'll just share with you some statistics from United States about the size of bullying. It's alarming, the size of bullying and how the majority of people believe there should be more done. A lot of good progress now is being made, especially after the Christchurch massacre and the terror campaigns on the internet. The Global Internet Forum to Counter Terrorism is one of the leading agencies I had the pleasure of working with the last 2 years on creating, mechanisms to report and remove violence content, have inclusiveness and diverse moderation, reflect cultures of different countries into the moderation, not just keep it centered around the West. And of course, countering misinformation, creating some code of conduct. This was clearly in the COVID when the fake news has really scared people of the vaccine, and more people died than they should have because of this fake news that spread over the internet. And to end here, definitely the cyber governance, an inclusive one, is about the well-being of our people. It's not just about regulation standards. Definitely the balanced multi-stakeholder governance is our way forward. And we need to be engaging international community, reflect our culture, reflect our political systems into the governance, make it more inclusive. And the Web3, as we move forward, hopefully the mistakes we had in Web2, we're gonna fix in Web3 and make it more safe and more time for everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you.